It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. The perfect product launch. It's the goal for every brand marketer. High heat, fast sellout, and fans posting recipes like trophies. What do Sydney Sweeney's soap drop, Taylor Swift's tickets, and your next launch have in common? Well, they're not bought, they're bragged about. Fanfare turns your drop into a moment. Fanfare cues real fans, blocks bots, and builds launch experiences worth screenshotting. Want hype without the heartbreak? Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook with our proven success formula and make your next launch unforgettable at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, fanfare.io/playbook.
If you're staying in your 9-to-5 job and you start creating this business, you're not going to have a lot of time. But you also have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to call the shots? How bad do you not want to work on someone else's time or someone else's dime? Getting clear on your why and what you want, like all I wanted was freedom. So no matter how hard it was going to get, and it got hard for a while, I knew freedom was more important. I let my why pick me up off the ground when my worries kind of knocked me down. But the rewards of being your own boss and doing your own thing far exceed any of the challenges to get you there.
This is our good friend, Amy Porterfield, one of the smartest marketers I know, but I challenge her today. She has a new book that just came out called 2 Weeks Notice, and it's for anybody who's interested in putting in their 2-week notice, right? How to escape the 9-to-5, very specific strategies on how to do that and how to do it right. And even if you have a business, how to go back to the foundations of, well, what's going to work for growing your brand, list building, all those kinds of things, again, inside of 2 weeks notice. But she's on this podcast tour right now. I want to help out my friend, but I want to challenge her too. She has to earn her spot here, and she did because I role play with her today. I pretend to be somebody who's unhappy at a 9-to-5 job, and I challenge her with some really hard questions on what I should be doing and how to know even what to do and what's that timeline like. And I'm a busy, I play a person named Greg, and I'm busy and I'm at work and then I'm at home with my kid and my wife, and I don't have that much time. So if you can resonate with that, this is definitely for you. And if you're a fan of Amy Porterfield, this is definitely for you as well. So my good friend Amy Porterfield, her brand new book, 2 Weeks Notice. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We have a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. You might be grossed out at one point, and hopefully you come away with some golden nuggets here to help you, and check out her book as well. Here she is, Amy Porterfield.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He can't be productive while listening to music with a regular beat. Pat Flynn.
With running your own business, legal questions always come with the territory. Like, can I use this contractor agreement? What do I do if a client doesn't pay? Am I even structured the right way for taxes? Instead of Googling your way through legal landmines, imagine having a law firm ready to address your business's legal needs without the sticker shock. That's what you get with Legal Shield's small business plans. Legal Shield helps entrepreneurs access real legal help on contract reviews, collection letters, business formation guidance, and even help navigating IRS audits. Members can schedule consultations, upload documents through the app, and get support from a provider law firm that knows small business laws in your state. Plus, consultations on taxes or trademarks help you stay ahead of potential problems. And if a client is late on a payment, Legal Shield steps in with professional collection letters so you can protect your hard-earned revenue, all for a fraction of the price of hiring a lawyer on your own. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI. Hiring shouldn't be a hassle or a drain on your budget. Upwork is your one-stop shop to find, hire, and pay top freelance talent, saving you time and keeping costs in check all in one place. Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in the way that they staff key projects and initiatives by assessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, administration support, marketing, and more. And I've personally used them myself and can vouch for them. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com. Go there now. Amy, welcome back once again to the Smart Passive Income Podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here yet again. So thanks for having me.
Yes, and you were here just recently, but I wanted to bring you back on because there's something important happening in your life, which could mean something important in other people's lives. Tell us what this amazing, important thing is that's happening right now.
So I wrote a book. It's my first official book. It's called 2 Weeks Notice. And it's all about finding the courage to quit your 9-to-5 job and go after what you really want, essentially starting your own business, being your own boss. And so I wrote this book for those that are in the cubicle or in the side office, still in a 9-to-5 job, working away, knowing there's something more for them out there. But this book is also for somebody who just wants to move away from what they no longer want and step into what they do want, which is starting a business. So it shows you all the foundational pieces you need to start your first online business.
We have a lot of friends here at SPI who've written books, but I wanted to bring you in really quickly here because this book is like perfect timing for the macro economy and what's happening in the world right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are unhappy. And I think a lot of people know in recessions like what we're in right now, that's a perfect time for opportunity. However, there's a lot that goes along with a big decision like that. For me, I got kicked out of my architecture job, so I was sort of forced to go down this way. This can be the guide for you if you're unhappy or want to start something new or switch positions, whatever you might be in. So I do want to get into the book, and I actually want to role play with you. I'm going to pretend like I'm somebody who maybe is unhappy at my job, and you can walk me through the process so we can see sort of how this works. Before that, though, you said this is your first official book. I know that you published a book with a traditional publisher way back in the day, and it was like a dummies book, right?
Yes.
So is that not official?
Yeah, I can't call that my first official book because I genuinely had nothing to do with it except writing what's in those pages. And I had 2 other people that wrote it with me. But I didn't market it. I didn't promote it in any way. Looking back, I'm like, why did they even let me get away with doing nothing with it? So this book feels very new to me.
So that was Facebook for Dummies. So there's no Metaverse for Dummies book in your future?
No, I wouldn't even know what to say. I'm so far removed.
Yeah, probably not even worth anybody's time, to be honest. But this is going to be fun because, how does this book differ from other books that, talk about the same thing, escape the 9-to-5, yada, yada, yada. Like, what's unique about this? I know that Amy always brings something unique to it, but why don't you tell us all what that is?
I think one of the unique things about this book is that I'm going to take you through my journey, what worked and what didn't. So you really get a backstage pass to a multi-million-dollar business starting from when I was still in my 9-to-5 job. So I use a lot of my own experiences, quite honestly, stories I didn't want to tell, but I knew I needed to in order to make an impact. And so I told the hard stories of when I crashed and burned and when things didn't work out and really get some solid lessons so people don't have to make the same mistakes I made. But also, I think it's different in the sense that there's a lot of business books out there and there's a lot of self-help books out there. But when I was looking for my competition, because you always have to do that when you're putting together a book proposal, I couldn't find any books, especially written by women, who will walk you through step by step by step. Here's exactly what you need to do, and here's how to do it. So, I've always been a how-to kind of girl. I think our way of teaching is very similar, where we actually hold people's hand through the process. And that's really what this book will do.
I think it's such a smart move on your end. You're obviously already a very successful business owner and entrepreneur, but to have a book like this artifact that you can now share for people who are just getting started is absolutely key. That was Will It Fly for me in 2015, because that answered a whole bunch of questions. It helped people understand how what I was teaching was relevant to them. And you talk about storytelling. I mean, that's what Will It Fly is about. And I love this because we're going to uncover some stories what's maybe one story that you haven't yet shared that is maybe in the book that you could touch on right now that we can look forward to learn more about?
Well, I talk about leaving my partnership in a really deep way that I never talked about online.
Oh, you and I have had personal conversations about this, right? Is
Yes.
it, I'm not going to mention names, but is this what I'm thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
And I know I've told you more stuff that maybe is even in the book, but I really went there in the book and talked about some mistakes I made taking on a partner, why I took on the partner, probably different than most people would think why I did it, and then what it looked like to get out of it and how scary that was. So I go there. I also tell a story about when I was still at Tony Robbins and I got to talk to somebody about building their online business. She had a business like I wanted. So she got on the phone with me. I paid her and I hid under my desk so that nobody at Robbins could hear me. So I was like, tell me all about your business and how you created it. So these little things of what I needed to do to get here, just stories that I haven't told, but I think they're necessary so people realize, oh, wait, I'm not so crazy to be doing this kind of stuff.
In the book writing process to like get those stories out of you, how did you do that? What was your process for telling the best story and remembering those things and pulling out those details? Do you have any secrets for the future book writers in the audience?
Well, I'm glad you asked this because I thought that was difficult. Like remembering the stories, right? Remembering all the stories and also making sure they're accurate and you're putting them together in an interesting way. That was challenging for me, but it was so important because I knew it brought the lesson to life. So what I did first is I said, what is the lesson I want to teach them in this chapter? What's most important? And then I literally did a brain dump of all the things that I went through to learn this lesson. And that's when the stories started to come up. I also had a sidekick. So I wrote the book, but there's somebody on my team that I've worked with for years and years. And her name is Jaws. That's her nickname. Jaws would say, well, what about this time? And she actually worked with me at Tony Robbins, which is where a lot of my stories come from as well. She's like, what about that? What about this? So it was nice to have someone that knew me well that could kind of pull them out of me as well.
Oh, that's really smart. So to have somebody sort of help you think through the past, because sometimes we only see what's important, but we kind of don't even realize that other parts of it sort of exist until you get that other perspective. So that's really smart. And I'm asking very selfishly as well, because I'm about to start writing a book of my own, my first traditional published book.
That's so exciting.
It's a very scary thing.
Okay. I don't know if you've talked about your topic yet, but I got to hear a little bit about it and I was like, the world needs this book. So I'm really glad you're writing the book. And also I'll give you one more little tip because I know you're in it now. I hired an editor, like my own editor that didn't come with the publisher. And she helped me write my book proposal and she helped me edit the entire book and actually bring out a lot of the stories I had forgotten. And so that was really helpful too.
Oh, that's
more
so good.
money, but when you get a nice advance, you want to kind of reinvest.
Yeah, that's actually great validation because I have somebody working with me to do the same kind of thing. I'm still writing it, but they're collaborating with me and helping me and forcing me to essentially, sit down and remember these things and kind of restructure them in a way that would make sense for people. So, okay, that's great. Big shout out to Jeff Goins, by the way.
Oh, love Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's amazing. And he was the one who helped me with my proposal too. So big shout out to him and worth every dollar for sure. Okay, I'm going to pick a name. My name's Greg. I don't know why I picked Greg. I think you and I have a history with Greg Hickman, so maybe that's why. So Greg, if you're listening.
Hi, Greg. We miss you.
We got to go back to the Philippines at some point.
Don't even get me started on the Philippines. Okay, so Greg, so nice to meet you.
Hey, so I'm pretty bored at my job, and I know that there's other opportunities. I actually have like a lot of things that I'm interested in, but Amy, I don't know where to start. And I don't even know if I could do this. I mean, I see other people do it and, I'm wondering if I should like start a TikTok or something. Cause I mean, everybody's talking about that right now. Or, should I like start a YouTube? Like, I don't know what to do. So can you help guide me through like my next steps?
I can. So a question I've got for you, Greg, is do you ultimately want to quit your job?
Oh, of course. Like if I could quit yesterday, I would. I can't make that snap decision because I have to put food on the table. I got a kid at home and a wife, and I mean, I can't just do that. I feel like that by doing that, I'd almost be just kind of selfishly making that decision. So that's where the push and pull comes from also.
Gotcha. Okay. So you've got some choices here. One thing you could do is you could start a side hustle where you're going to start making money on the side while you're still in your 9-to-5 job. But I've also seen a lot of people just put together together a plan for their business, start working on that business a little bit, but then go all in. So you do get to decide if it's going to be a side hustle or you're just going to go all in at some point or another. But before we ever get there, you've got to get super clear on why you want to create your own thing. Like, I'm assuming, Greg, you want to be your own boss.
Yeah. I mean, I hate having to answer to somebody else, and, it just makes me feel like I'm not valuable when kind of I do a lot of important things and I'm just kind of not getting the raise I deserve, I think. And, I know we're in tough times right now, but it's just hard. I want to be my own boss for sure. But again, cool. I've never done that before.
So let's talk about where you're excelling. Let's talk about where you've gotten results, whether it be in your personal life or your business life. What are you good at?
Well, two things. In the office that I'm in, I am really good at making people laugh. Like I have a good personality, and if somebody's having a down day, I can sort of notice that and come over to his desk and make him feel better, and at least give him the encouragement to keep going and that kind of thing. The other thing that I'm good at is, I can go to somebody's desk and make things more organized for them. Like I can see how there's like inefficiencies and how they have their computer desktop organized. And, I'm really good at file management and those kinds of things. And that helps me personally save more time so that I can, get more things done. And I've helped a few of my buddies do the same thing.
Okay. I'm loving that. And do you enjoy doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like sit down and, dream about it, but it is something I'm good at. I mean, I have dreams of, doing things like comedy one day or, getting on stages and whatever. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm good at it and I like helping other people do that, but I don't like dream about file management.
Okay, I love that you said this. So one of the things I often tell my students is whatever you choose to do in your business, especially in the first year, second year, look at that as phase one. You're just launching, you're getting yourself out there, because what you do, let's say in year 3, 4, beyond that, it could look wildly different, but we've got to get you out there. And so you don't have to find your passion and then leave your job. You don't have to create a business around something you absolutely feel like is your life purpose, and then you do that. So I teach people how to create digital courses. That is not my life purpose at all. However, my life purpose, I believe, is helping people move past what they no longer want in their life and become their own boss. And digital courses are a vehicle to get them there. So if you're passionate about helping people, making them feel good, you can build them up, and especially when they're feeling down or having a rough day. And one of the ways you can help people is getting organized, systematized, dialed in so that they can be more efficient, maybe even leave work a little bit early or spend more time with their family. Then this organizational type of business that you could put together could absolutely be your launching pad. So when I tell you that, what do you think?
First of all, I want to tell my wife, Anna Kendrick, about this because she's really I think she'd be really excited about it. Sorry, this is Pat coming back. I just had to. Sorry, she's on my list. But anyway, April has her own list, by the way, so it's all good. Sure. If you've seen Friends, you know what we're talking about. If you don't, then
I have a list.
You're probably kind of very curious about what we're talking about right now. First of all, this is Pat still talking. I love the phase approach to this because I think a lot of people, when they select a business, it's like, I can't imagine doing that for the rest of my life, so I'm not going to do it at all. But the phased approach is great. And when you say phases, like I imagine that like Greg in this scenario would wonder like, well, how long is that phase going to be? Like, is that going to be 6 months before I start doing other things that I, actually truly enjoy and am passionate about, or 10 years? Like, what's the maybe timeline that we're thinking of when it comes to these phases?
Well, if you absolutely know what you're passionate about and you're like, this is what I'm going to do. Like I have a student that she knows her job is to train dogs. Like that's what she wants to do. She trained her own dogs. She trains her neighbor's dogs. She wants to train dogs. She wants to do it in person first and then create a digital course. She's very clear about that. So I'm going to set her on her path to do that. But I work with a lot of people that are a little bit unsure. They're good in a few areas, but they don't know what the end all be all is. So what I tell them is give it a year. Give it a year that you go all in with whatever it is you're going to decide to do. And while you're in it, while you're running your own race, you're going to start to develop other ideas or different things that you might want to do it's just going to come organically. But until you're in the game, everything feels like an idea, but really far from reality. But when you're doing it, and this is how you need to make money, you get scrappy, you start thinking of things, and it starts to evolve. So that's why I don't think everyone needs to start a side hustle, because sometimes a side hustle is 1 foot out, 1 foot in. So for Greg, I might suggest, look, choose an exit date. When are you ready to leave and actually get going with this? And even if you start a business just to kind of get it going, it doesn't have to be a forever side hustle. It could be like 1 or 2 months that you make a little money and then you jump ship and you go all in. Everyone gets to do it different. But my point being is I need to back up a little bit. You do need to choose an exit date. And so if Greg said, okay, I really want to be out of here in 6 months, but I think realistically, I'm going to need a year to make this work. And I'll say, okay, so the year is usually the longest I'll want a student to wait. Put that date on a Post-it note. You tell 3 people. And the reason why I say just 3 people is when you start telling everybody, they're going to tell you all their fears of why you shouldn't do it. So the only people that get to know are the people that are going to cheer you on and say, this is the greatest idea you had. What can I do to help? So you're going to tell the closest people to you. Nobody else gets to know your dream. You put that note on a Post-it note and you see it every single day. And behind the scenes, early in the morning, late at night, you start working away on how you're going to make this happen. Whether you want to launch and start making money while you're still in your 9 to 5, or you just want to put the plan together and get things going, you've got to start something. And Pat, I don't mention your name personally in the book, but there's one story I mentioned that you inspired me because do you remember you telling me that you created content for a really long time before you actually were selling anything?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. That is something that I've heard that from a few people, but you really stick out for me where you can start creating content while you're still in your 9 to 5 job or in a job you don't want, whether you're your own boss, but you don't like what you created, you can start creating content, whether it be a podcast, a blog, a video show, whatever it is for you to start figuring out what you want to create, who your audience is, bringing people to you. That's something everyone could do while they're still in a 9 to 5 job. And so that is one thing I would tell Greg, let's start creating some content and experimenting with this new idea.
Okay, I'm Greg again.
Okay, hi, Greg.
Hi, good to see you. Thanks. I had to go to the bathroom. So you were talking to some dude, and then I don't know, like
the wildest podcast episode I've ever had. I need you to put a hat on.
You're doing hundreds of interviews. I need it to be different. Okay, like go with me.
It is so different. Next time, bring a hat and a mustache. Oh, you already have a beard though, so that's not going to work.
That's true. I'll shave for it. No, I won't do that actually. Okay, so I'm Greg again. Okay, the idea of having like 6 months to a year to sort of like get ready, try things out is interesting to me. So I don't have to feel like I have to quit tomorrow. I can imagine maybe cutting on some spending to build up a little bit of a safety net so that when I leave, I have some money just in case as I'm getting things started. But like, what is the business? I mean, what am I even going to be doing? And where am I going to find the time for that? I'm still going to be working 9 to 5. I'm a father and, it just seems impossible. Like it sounds good, but how am I actually going to do this? And what am I going to be doing?
Yes. Okay. First of all, we're going to take baby steps because if you're staying in your 9 to 5 job and you start creating this business, you're not going to have a lot of time. But you also have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to call the shots? How bad do you not want to work on someone else's time or someone else's dime? Getting clear on your why and what you want. Like all I wanted was freedom. When I decided to leave Tony Robbins, I wanted to call the shots. I didn't want anyone to tell me what to do, when to do, or how to do it. So no matter how hard it was going to get, and it got hard for a while, I knew freedom was more important. I let my why pick me up off the ground when my worries kind of knocked me down. So Greg, you have to get really clear on your why, because it is going to be hard to find the time. But the rewards of being your own boss and doing your own thing far exceed any of the challenges that it will be to get you there. So that's the first thing. The next thing is we got to think about after we kind of consider how you're going to create content. Are you going, Greg, I think you should podcast. So I want you to kind of consider, I've got this friend, Pat Flynn. He has a course on podcasting.
Oh, I heard of him. Yeah, he's got a great podcasting course.
It's a great podcasting course. And I would invest. So when I still work for Tony Robbins, I invested in 2 courses. They were each $1,000. I told no one because no one at that time would have even supported me spending $1,000 on someone's course. I didn't even know the person or what they were about. One was about video marketing. One was about social media. And so I say investing in yourself, learning what you need to learn before you go out on your own is a great idea. So buy the podcasting course, figure out how to do that, start your podcast. The next thing I want you to think about is, let's say you're going to help people put systems and processes in place and get organized, let's say in their work world. We're just going to make that up. Then we got to figure out, is this going to be a digital course? Are you going to start out with one-on-one coaching and consulting? Are you going to do group coaching? Are you going to do a membership, a mastermind? The beautiful thing about being your own boss is you have so many options in terms of a business model. Now, gone are the days that we have to do a 10-page business model and get investors and figure out how we're going to do it. Most of my students start with hardly any money and a wish and a prayer, and they're going for it because they want it so bad. They create the content, they decide if they're creating a course or a membership or anything like that, and they get to work. We can get scrappy to make this work.
Yes. Okay. So I need to create content, it sounds like. And podcasting is one way to do it. With what I teach, it's probably more visual. Is that a problem? Like, I know Pat also has this amazing YouTube course that maybe YouTube might be cool.
Pat Flynn, he's got everything you need. I love the idea of visual. And I think video is the most powerful medium online. So if you want to show what you're teaching, do video all day long. So maybe you don't start a podcast, maybe you start a YouTube channel. But I do think that's one of the very first decisions we need to make after we decide why we're doing it and get clear, what kind of content are we creating and how are we going to package it?
Yeah. This is Pat coming back in. Hi.
Hi.
I like this idea of like, let's just like pick a content channel, just one.
Yep, just one.
Right. You didn't say like podcast and YouTube and all these things, just pick one. Because that helps you refine what it is you're doing. It helps you like learn the language. It helps you just get comfortable putting that stuff out there and seeing what that's like and adjusting. And you'll actually see from these platforms, especially YouTube. This is why I'm pretty bullish on YouTube right now, because the potential reach is much higher and you have access to an audience that's already there sort of to look for those things. And also YouTube will push these things out. With a podcast, if you have relationships, that's a great place to start. Or a secondary platform to start. But you know, for example, I might create 10 videos and 9 of them like are about the organization thing, but then one of them picks up and it's like, wow, oh, people love that. And now I have access to a group of people who I can talk further with and communicate with and learn about, and almost they're guiding me. They're telling me what to do next almost at that point, which is really great. But okay, Greg coming back in. Content, great. I understand that. That'll help me get practice. That's something I can do on the side or on the weekend, or you know, I can create a short little video really easily. So that fits into my schedule. But like, does that mean if I go on YouTube, for example, that I'm just gonna wait till I have enough views to make ad revenue that matches my salary right now? Or like you had mentioned digital courses. Would people even pay for that when they're getting and watching these things for free on YouTube?
Great question. So what I say is the difference between, let's say, a YouTube channel, which you absolutely should start. I love that idea. Let's start getting that momentum going. But when you're going to need to make money, and a lot of people, because they want to quit their job, they don't want to wait a year till they actually start making money in their business. So we do need to put together a very simple offer. And so what that means is, no, I don't want you to run this YouTube channel and wait till you get enough views to start making some money with it, although that is definitely a good thing. I think you also need to be proactive in creating an offer and getting it out there. So when I say create an offer, it might be a mini course. Maybe you create an hour-long digital course that you maybe do live first, and then now it's recorded and you can sell it through ads or for your website or through social, so you can start to bring in a little bit of money. There's confidence in seeing that your idea is actually worthy, that people are willing to put their hard-earned cash to that offer. And I think it gives people a boost. So I'd like to see you making money sooner than later. So you could keep it simple with an hour-long training. You can go with a digital course or membership or anything like that. But here's what I want to get back to. You don't have an audience yet. You don't have anybody to market to. Sure, we're going to try to grow that audience on YouTube, but we need to focus on list building. And so before we get to that offer of making money, we're creating content. Now we've got to focus on growing your email list. And of course, social media can be a part of that. So you getting on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok or wherever you want to go, you've got to decide, just choose one in the beginning. Where do you think your ideal audience is spending time? And so once you start getting on social and start posting and growing your audience there, you've got to think, I need a lead magnet. I need some kind of freebie to tell my social media audience, hey, if you want to dive deeper with me, if you want to know how to XYZ, let's get you on my email list. And so growing your email list while you're growing social is very important, because even a list of 200 people can allow you to actually make some great money. I have many students with small email lists. They put together their first offer, they make 5 figures. And that's the kind of momentum I'm looking for my first time students doing this.
So, Amy, I already have an Instagram and a Facebook.
Okay.
Do I need to create a new one or can I just do the stuff there?
So it depends. Let's talk about that Instagram. What are you posting right now on Instagram?
Pics of me and Anna skating,
You're living a good life.
sharing gifts with each other. Yeah, living the good life there. But I'm always at work. I'd love to see her more.
Yeah.
Hence
Yeah.
this conversation. So, and she's on the road all the time acting and stuff too. So, it
Yeah,
kind of
she's
goes both ways.
So busy all the time.
Yeah, but
You've got some options here, Greg. So number one is you can start transitioning your Instagram, the one you already have. You can start transitioning it into a business account. I don't love managing two accounts. I don't love to have like a personal Instagram and a business Instagram. So for me, I just started to use Instagram for business, and I'll weave in some personal stuff when we go on trips, or recently we went to a football game. I share that. But overall, it's really business heavy because that's what people want from me. So if you only want to manage one, let's say Instagram account, start to transition that, start to talk about the content that you want to create, maybe share a little piece of the YouTube video, maybe share that you've got this freebie, and start to talk about this business. Now, some people are going to be very confused. Your cousin from Wyoming is going to be like, what are you doing here? And that's okay. Not everyone's going to understand your vision. But again, you got to keep your eye on what is really important to you. So the transition is always a little bit awkward. I talk about this in 2 weeks notice. It's a little awkward. You kind of want to come out of your skin. You're doing things that are different. My biggest fear, so Greg, what's going to happen to you is likely you're going to start to think, but what will people think?
I'm already thinking
What are my coworkers going to think, right? What are my family members going to think? When I start posting about this online, that's very vulnerable. They're going to think I've gone crazy. Why am I talking about organizing your business life? And that's okay if they don't get it because they're not living your life. So you have to be willing to get uncomfortable in order to make this work.
Super powerful. This is Pat, by the way. I was just had like a random thought because you had mentioned like, what are coworkers going to think about, Greg posting on Instagram and stuff, which is definitely, I mean, that makes complete sense. What do you think about people reading 2 weeks notice? Like it says 2 weeks notice on the cover. Like if they bring it to work and read it, that could be a bad situation.
Yes. So I actually thought about this, and I talked to my publisher about this before they gave me a deal. I said, one of the challenges we're going to run into is this is not necessarily a book you post on social media while you're at your 9-to-5 job saying, this is my latest read. This is what I'm loving. And I probably should have, it would have been a great promotional thing to like put a fake cover on the book when they need it to kind of walk around with it or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't that be kind of fun? So I do think I'm going to run into a little bit of a challenge that if you're still in your 9-to-5 job and you want to quit, this is not necessarily something you're going to be talking about publicly. But I thought about that as an author now and as someone who needs to promote a book. That's why I've leaned very heavily on my friends like you who have an audience of people that maybe a lot of people in your audience, Pat, already left their 9-to-5 job, but they're struggling to make money in the business they've created. They've skipped some steps along the way.
Right.
And they know that this foundation is very rocky for what I've created. The bulk of the book is around creating an online business, website, social media, list building, offers, courses, memberships, all of that. So everything I wish I would have known when I was first starting out. So yeah, you make a great point that, the girl in the cubicle isn't going to be showing everyone her book. That's for sure.
But I also feel like it could take this sort of like under the table offering from friend to friend, kind of like, hey,
I hope so.
Like, you got to read this book. Like, don't show anybody here at work, but like, I'm planning to leave. You got to read Amy's book because it's like, let's go together kind of thing.
I hope so. Yes.
I know you talked a lot about the Great Resignation on TikTok. I've seen you're doing a great job on TikTok.
You too, friend. Can we talk about how hard it is to get that up and going? It's not my most favorite experience.
I'm running a 30-day experiment right now just to kind of stay consistent, and it's definitely a different platform. However, I also know that it just takes one video to change everything, and of all the platforms, it's the easiest one to create video on. So I've seen some of your stuff blow up, mostly when like Hobie's in it.
Can we talk about that just for a quick minute? So I was on stage the other day and I was talking to a group of women entrepreneurs and I said, I've been in business almost 14 years and I create content like it's my job. Like I have been creating content from day one. And I said, I finally went viral with it. 40 million views of one of my videos on Instagram. And then TikTok took it for like 2 million views. And it was, as you know, Hobie, my husband, showing his beard and me reacting to how much I love it. I'm mad. I'm mad that of all the great content about list building and course creation, that my husband's beard is what makes me go viral. And he actually had the audacity to ask me, how much money do we make? Like, babe,
No shot.
none. We made $0 with 40 million views on Instagram. I'm so mad.
That's funny. I talked about this in a previous podcast episode. I deleted a video that was there just for views because I was like, what value is this providing the world right now? It was actually like a disgusting look at my microphone cover that had like a growth on it from me talking. It was nasty, but I was like, this is going to get views, y'all. This is going to get views. I had like that, oh, no, 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 no music playing, And I was like, I don't want to be known as the gross microphone guy. This is clean. I cleaned it literally right after. I actually filmed myself cleaning it for part 2, and then I just deleted part 1, and I'm not even doing it. So
I can't believe you deleted it. That's so funny.
It was gross. It was nasty.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see it. I feel like I see everything you do. I did not see that one, and I'm happy.
Oh, I'm not even going to talk about it anymore because I'll throw up. But I think we need to talk about this idea that TikTok, yes, is a place you can go viral. You went viral there, but made $0 as a result of that.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that versus the methods that you teach inside of your book and why that's a better option for many people?
Thank you. So this idea of going viral, I really do believe it's overrated. And of course, I went viral for something that has nothing to do with work, and it didn't add tons of new TikTok followers and also people that are seeing it. 40 million people see it on Instagram. They are absolutely not all my audience, right? And so that's funny and we can laugh about it.
But it felt good, right? Did it feel good? Are you like, I got recognized and I got these views now, and all the vanity metrics that, are also similar in entrepreneurship, the size of your list and how much money you're making, all that kind of stuff. Like, did it give off those same sort of endorphins for you?
That's a great question. I did feel good and we did think it was fun, and I'm not naturally fun online. So it was good that something kind of showed my personality that typically doesn't. That all felt good. And at first, I actually thought it was going to bring a lot of new followers into my world. So I was very excited about that. But when I saw that it really didn't, I went back to my roots and what I talk about in the book, that at the end of the day, what I care deeply about is I am making an impact in my students' lives, and I am able to make a revenue that I am proud of. And so if I'm thinking about making a revenue I'm proud of and making an impact in my students' lives, then really what it comes down to is, what am I creating that's going to be something of great value for my audience? And what do my metrics look like in terms of conversions and revenue and list growth? And so to me, at the end of the day, list growth, conversion, revenue, all of that matters to me, not a TikTok video that gets all those views. And so I think, though, I've been in the business for a long time, so I could feel grounded in that. But if I was in my first year and I got that viral video, I would absolutely think it's a bigger deal than it is. I think that's very normal. But I think the smart entrepreneur, even if you're just starting out, the vanity metrics, they will get your ego and just take over like that. I've been totally guilty of it. Where is my ego showing up versus my strategic entrepreneurial mind? I think they're two very different things.
That's such a good point. And I think this is a really important discussion right now as TikTok continues to be at the top of people's minds, and still a great opportunity. But if you are creating content that's not about necessarily what your offers are or who you are as an entrepreneur or what it is that your service is about, then it really doesn't really do much for you, and it could actually pull you in the wrong direction. And to the fact that you didn't get a lot of followers from that, I think that's so important to understand, because one thing I've realized is that on YouTube, as podcasters, as TikTokers, whatever platform you're on, people don't subscribe because of the content they just saw. They subscribe for the content that they know is going to come. And so your one-time hit, it's not going to be good enough.
No.
If you have a theme, or, there's some people on TikTok, by the way, that are amazing. And I watch one video and I go to their profile and they have like 20 of the same video. Like, there's a guy who creates mashups between two songs, and they're always like mind-blowingly good.
I think I know what you're talking about. I love them.
And so I know that when I subscribe, when I see a piece of content from this person, that's what I'm going to get.
Yes.
But somebody who finds this video of Hobie and his beard, and by the way, I have a beard as well, the beard's not the factor for the growth because my TikTok is not growing. So it must be just
Good
your
to know.
handsome
Good to
husband. You can tell him that. You just, if what you're creating is not about ultimately what it is you're trying to serve your audience with, it's going to be very difficult. Entertainment maybe is a little bit different because there's comedians and all those different things, or, you know, all the different skits are about different topics, but they are the product. They are the entertainer. That's who you are subscribing for. And for us as educators, it is partly us as the brand, and showing up is important as who we are, but the value that you're creating is what's most important. And so I'm glad we're having this discussion, because I think a lot of people are being swayed. Even I was swayed. I created a video about a nasty microphone hoping it would get views, but then what would that ultimately do? Maybe every time I do a podcast with people, they'd be like, "Hey, Pat, is your mic clean again?" And that's not the life I wanted to live.
I think you know, I'm one of your biggest fans. I have been a fan of you since the minute we met. And the fact that you had a video that started to get a bunch of views and you're like, this is not what I want to be known for. I think that takes a lot of confidence to do that. And I think a lot of people listening right now, where sometimes when you're just getting started in your business, for the newbies that are listening, there's a desperation that comes with that is very human and very normal. I need to do this. I need to do that. Say yes to everything. This video is going to go viral. Great. I'm just going to keep writing it. Where I think we all should look forward to getting to a place that we feel grounded in our business, that even if something's working well, but isn't really in alignment with who we are, we're able to say, I don't want to do that. And so anyone listening that wants to get to that place, just know you are very capable of getting there. I think it just comes with some years of experience.
It does. So for Greg, hey, it's Greg here.
Hey,
Thanks
Greg.
for letting me join the conversation again, guys. For me, Greg, for those of you listening, Amy's like laughing her butt off right now on video.
I can't handle it. It's so good though.
I need a voice though. I think I didn't want
You
to.
did a voice. What was your voice in the beginning off camera?
It was it had like a twang to it. I'm not even going to try it because I don't want to offend anybody.
True.
So for Greg, who's like, hey, I hear you. Be great to get to a point where you are confident in what it is that you're offering, and you can say no to certain things or catch yourself when you go, off kilter. But for me, just starting out, I feel like every piece of content isn't me. Like, this is all new for me. I'm scared to put myself out there. I'm not going to be happy with it. I'm pretty sure. Where do I get the courage to just hit publish on that content as I build my audience and get to know who it is that I'm actually serving?
Okay, Greg, I love that you asked this, because when I was first starting out, I recorded a bunch of videos, and my husband said, where are these videos that you're recording? You're not putting them anywhere and you're spending all this time. And I was scared to put them out there. I was scared what people would think of me or say of me. And so first of all, you have to acknowledge these very normal feelings when you're just starting out, of feeling imposter syndrome, that you're not good enough, that you're scared, what will people think? All of that is normal. But the thing is, when I was watching an interview from Oprah many years ago, and she said one of the reasons why she did so well in business is in her early years, she ran her business like a racehorse runs a race. And a racehorse has blinders on. And so she said, my whole team and we put blinders on. I didn't allow myself to look at what other people were saying about me or what other people were doing. I just kept going. I kept churning out content, kept putting it out there, showing up, even though I was embarrassed and I didn't like what I was putting out there. You will never love what you're putting out there the first year. I look back on those videos and I cringe. I would never be where I am today if I didn't put out those videos. I had to start somewhere. Run your business like a racehorse, put those blinders on, and just put the content out there. You've got to ship it, or you'll just stay in that 9-to-5 job way longer than you ever want to.
That's so key. And we've had other guests on the show, like MKBHD, who's a giant YouTuber, tech YouTuber, 14 million subscribers. He was telling a story about how his first 100 videos were for less than 100 subscribers. I think 86 subscribers when he had his 100th video. And now he's got 15 million subscribers. And same story with Mr. Beast. The other thing I want to call out before we finish up here is something you mentioned earlier, which is like the audience knows when you put in some extra time and care into helping them or to providing something new. And it might take a little longer, but I think the audience knows when that happens. And the reason I'm remembering this is because I just brought up Mr. Beast. He talks about this all the time. And it really helped with my Pokemon channel. Like, the audience knows when you've done something a little different and stepped it up. And it might take time for YouTube or the algorithm or people to find it, but eventually, if you keep focusing on providing something different, right? Different is better than better, as Sally Hogg once said. It'll eventually work. But if you stop because the first few aren't working or the view count isn't there, or you start, like you said, the blinders are off, so you're paying attention to more than you need to, and there's just so much noise out there, and you're also comparing yourself to other people, like you're not going to get to the point at which these things that you've created have a chance to germinate and produce for you. So, can you speak to Greg one more time about what will happen after 3 months, 4 months when I've created content? I have not yet really seen anything quote unquote blow up yet, and I'm starting to have doubts. Like, how do I keep going when I come across those brick walls?
Okay, Greg. So you're going to get going, and the only people in the beginning that are even going to pay attention is maybe your mom and your brother. And one of the things that I teach is this concept of capacity for zero. When you're starting out, or any time in your business, you have to strengthen your capacity for zero, meaning be okay with 0 people on your email list, 0 people watching your videos, 0 people opting in, or whatever it might be. Now that's worst case scenario. But if you said, okay, my capacity for zero is strong, I'm just going to keep doing it. And like you said, you have a 30-day TikTok challenge. What if, Greg, you had a 6-month challenge on yourself? Every single week, you're going to put out a new video on YouTube. It does not matter who watches it, how many downloads, anything like that. You're going to be a man of your word, and you're going to commit to those 6 months. I promise you that you are going to start getting traction because you're going to start getting better and better at what you're creating. And I love what you said, Pat. I didn't put this in the book, but I wish I did. I have a good friend that subscribes to her life by saying DSD, do something different. Every single week, she's going to DSD her way to success. She's going to do it different than most people will. So, Greg, when you start creating your YouTube content 2-3 months in, you're going to get some ideas that are going to DSD your way to success. You're going to show up differently than everybody else. You would never have those ideas if you weren't in the game. That's the power of, I think, this book, and what I teach you is you've got to get into motion, because that's where the magic is happening. It sure as heck is not happening you dreaming about being your own boss while you're in your 9-to-5 job. We have to do something about it. And that's the guidebook in 2 weeks' notice.
And the why is the driver, like we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. One of the very first things I teach in the book is getting very clear on your why.
So everybody go get the book. Amy, where can they go grab it?
Anywhere where you buy books online. 2 weeks' notice is waiting for you.
Perfect. I think this is the first podcast interview where we've had 3 people, but it's actually 2.
I really enjoyed Greg. He's a great guy, and he's going to be really successful. I'm a little jealous, actually, of Greg and his life to come. So say hi to Anna for me. Thank you, Amy, for coming on again. And everybody go grab 2 weeks' notice. Thank you. I wish you the best with the book. I cannot wait to see it on the lists, because I know it's going to be great. Thank you, my friend.
Not just like, hey, the couple weeks after it came out, it's on the list. Like, for years to come, this is going to be something that I think will be a staple in the lives of, and the only place we won't see it is probably in the workplace. But other than that, it should be everywhere. So thank you so much, Amy. Appreciate you, and good luck.
Thanks for your friendship. I appreciate it.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that fun interview. Probably one of the most fun interviews I've done, because that was very unique. And thanks to Greg, also our special guest, and hi to Anna as well for me. Anyway, this is episode 657 of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. If you want the links and all the resources and the links to Amy's book, head on over to smartpassiveincome.com/session657. Again, smartpassiveincome.com/session657. And definitely check out her book, 2 weeks' notice, available wherever books are available. And we're already coming in to the end of February 2023 here. So if you haven't made a move on this yet, and you're thinking about quitting your job or moving on to something else, this is definitely for you. 2 weeks' notice. Thank you to Amy for coming on and entertaining this idea. She was all for it. I hope you check her out on TikTok as well. She's doing some fun stuff there. So again, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Best of luck to you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And yeah, we might do some more role playing, and maybe Greg and Anna will come back in the future at some point. This is so much fun. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at smartpassiveincome.com. I'm your host, Pat Flynn. Our senior producer is David Grabowski. Our series producer is Paul Gregoris. And our executive producer is Matt Garland. Sound editing by Duncan Brown. The Smart Passive Income Podcast is a production of SPI Media. We'll catch you in the next session. Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? You record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips. Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video. We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. More people dream about building their own business and being their own boss rather than retiring early. But a majority of them never even take the first steps to register the business. Why? Because starting a business can feel overwhelming. With legal forms, paperwork, finances, it's a lot. And that's where Taylor Brands comes in. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal and business assets separate from day one. And from there, you can get access to everything you need to get off the ground, from legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, our listeners get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. Just head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands.